sales is the most lucrative skill in the world, period. The problem is most sales advice out there today is outdated, cheesy, and can even keep you from getting the deals that can make all the difference in your career. This is the No BS Sales School, a podcast for entrepreneurs and salespeople who want to master the skill of selling without all the BS. Listen, if you're like me, you hate doing admin crap. Number one, because you're not good at it. And number two, because you know it's taking you away from the stuff that actually makes you money. So why are you doing it? Do what I did. Go to worksby.com right now and let them pair you with a real executive assistant. Once I started working with Cheryl at Worksby, my income went up 40% in 1 month, and my working hours went from 70 down to 40. It's a game changer. Go to worksby.com right now, book a call, and tell them Walker sent you. If you do, you'll get 2 extra hours of service for free as a bonus. So if you're ready to finally stop doing the stuff you hate and focus on the stuff that makes you money, go to worksby.com right now. That's WORXBEE.com. Tell them Walker sent you, and you'll get those 2 free hours.
Welcome to the WBS Sales School podcast. I'm your host, Walker McKay. Today, I want to talk to you about something that you've heard about before, and maybe you know more about this than I do, but it's time. I want to talk to you about time and how you use it for the things that, and the reason I'm talking about this today is because I need some help with this. I've been screwing up. I've been wasting time, but not been as productive as I needed to be, and it's my fault. And so what I need to do is remind myself about the stuff that's important and the stuff that's maybe not so important. So I want to talk about the concept of pay time and no pay time. Let's start first and think about how many hours that you work in a year. How many hours you typically work in a year? To make the math easy, if you work 50 hours and you work, or if you work 50 weeks a year and you work, say, 40 hours a week, that's 2,000 hours a year. Some of us work more than that. Some of us work less than that, but that's a good baseline. So for this exercise, I want you to take the total amount of money that you made last year and divide it by, say, 2,000 hours or whatever it is that you came up with the number of hours you worked last year. Again, to make the math easy, if you made $100,000 last year, it means you're making about $50 an hour. It means your time's worth right now about $50 an hour. Now, if you want to make more money, you got to have one of 2 choices. One is work more hours, or number 2, make those same hours that you work more profitable. Raise your hourly rate, which I guess if you're an attorney, you can just raise the amount of money, just charge more. For most of us, it's not that simple, right? For most of us, in order to make our time more valuable, we have to do more valuable things with our time, right? Sounds kind of simple. If you think about during the week, the amount of time that you might spend, I'm just gonna go through a list of things here. The amount of time you might spend when you get to the office screwing around, saying hello, getting coffee, getting organized, checking your email, writing emails, going to kind of internal meetings, unplanned meetings, where you have sales calls sometimes that really are just social visits, or sales calls that you end up that have no decision, right? Or maybe that you're looking at social media, or you're eating lunch, or you're dicking around with your database, or you're dealing with client problems, or drop-in visitors, or you got fires to put out, or you're playing phone tag with people, you're waiting for a response, driving to meetings. All those things take time. Not one of those things will help you increase your hourly rate. Not one. They may be important, but none of those things are anything that you're doing to increase your value. I'm going to call those things no pay time. Maybe you got to do them. Maybe that's an important part of your business, but that's not increasing your hourly rate. Let's talk about the things that you do that do increase your hourly rate, that do make you more valuable. Pay time activities. There are really only 4 or 5 of them, maybe not even that many. Number 1, prospecting for new business. That is pay time. The stuff that brings new money in the door, by definition, is pay time, right? The stuff that makes you better and brings new money in the door. So if you were really honest and you looked at how much time you spend, well, let me back up. Pay time's one thing. Another thing is planning, where you're actually spending time figuring out what's the best thing I can be doing for my business right now. What are the things I need to focus on and get better at? What are the resources I need to bring in? That can also be considered pay time. I'll also tell you that training is pay time. Now, some training is shit, it's a waste of your time, but good training is pay time. Asking your existing clients for referrals is also pay time. However, working out the contract that you've already sold, doing the work that you've already sold to do, that's no longer pay time. That's what you have to do to get paid, but that's no longer pay time. Pay time comes from the things you do to bring new money in the business and help you grow your business. So if you look at that strict definition, so if most people, if they will actually hold on to their time and clock their time and measure their time honestly, maybe you're different. But most of us can look and say, God, if I spend 5 hours a week in pay time, that's a pretty good week. 5 hours a week, an hour a day. Theoretically, and maybe actually, if you want to double your income, all you need to do is double your pay time. If you're currently doing pay time activities, prospecting, planning, asking existing clients referrals, which is prospecting. If you did that 2 hours a day instead of 1 hour a day, or 30 minutes instead of 15 minutes, your business should double. It's amazing how that happens. So how in the world would you find the time to do that? How in the world could you find the time to do more of the stuff? It's probably hard, might even be uncomfortable. It's the stuff we put off because it's where we have the risk of failing, perhaps. How in the world, if you were committed to it, how would you find the time? Well, there's some things that we just ought to quit doing, like looking at social media during the day, or reading the news during the day, or having bullshit meetings with people. Most meetings are bullshit, but having bullshit sales meetings with people that, you're not really, you don't have your whole heart in it. You're not there to get a yes or no decision, right? Where you're actually just having a social visit. If you cut that stuff out, if you cut out the meetings that people just drop by your office to say hello, if you can close your door or have a sign that says, please don't disturb me for the next hour, if you cut that crap out, all of a sudden you can pick up a pretty good amount of time. Another thing I'd highly recommend is a lot of the things that you're doing can be done by other people. The number one thing that I've done to improve my efficiency is hire Cheryl, my virtual executive assistant, who does so much of the crap that I hate to do, the stuff that I'm no good at, that sucks my energy, that I hate doing, that I put off. So I bet about probably 40 hours of the no pay time stuff that I used to have to do is now off my plate and on Cheryl's plate. And the wild thing is, she can do it in 10 hours. So if there's crap on your plate that you really have no business doing, let's just say it's half the value of what your hourly rate is. If your hourly rate is $50 an hour, if you can pay somebody else, I guess, $45 an hour to do it. Or even better, make a decision, $25 an hour or less to do it. All of a sudden, then that time you free up that somebody else is doing it in a hell of a lot less time than you can, well, you've got leverage with your time. But the hard part then is to have the discipline to block time yourself and to say between 9:30 and 10:30 this morning, I'm going to be on the phone making prospecting calls. I'm going to be working to set meetings with people who can give me new money. But I mean, block time, and this is a concept probably most of y'all have heard of. Some of you have done it. Some of you do it consistently every day. It's easy to do, just hard to keep doing. That's what I find anyway. The concept is simple, but what you do is you block an hour. Let's say that's about as long as I can sit. You block an hour, and during that hour, you have a list of prospects in front of you. Probably have minimum 25 names there, names, phone numbers. During that hour, your job is to pick up the phone and you call. Chances are 90% of those people you call, you're going to get voicemail. I find that if I am really working it, if I block an hour of time, I can reach out to somewhere between 16 and 20 people and have a couple of conversations in an hour. Here's what else I find. If I don't block the time and I give myself a list of 25 names, it could take me 4 days to make those calls because I hate doing it. What I hate doing is starting. So if I block time, I only have to start once. I've already had my water, my door is closed, I've gone to the bathroom. If somebody calls me back, I'm not taking the call. I'll call them back after my hour. My goal is to reach out and touch up to 20 people. If I did that every single day, I wouldn't know what to do with all my business. And when I do that, it works like crazy. And then I get to use one of my favorite expressions, my least favorite, most often spoken phrase. I used to do that and it worked, so I quit. Sales is not hard. Being good at sales is hard, but sales is not hard. Blocking time is not hard. Doing that regularly, consistently is hard as hell. Those people that can master that, those people that can take time and say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get it done no matter what happens. Those people can make so much money. They can be the biggest top producers. They can own their own companies. They can do whatever the hell they want to do. They've got the discipline to do it. A lot of people say, I don't have discipline. Bullshit, you do have discipline. You've got discipline to do things exactly the way you're doing them right now. You probably brush your teeth. You probably have the same number of toothbrush strokes every day. You probably are within 5% of the same amount of time brushing your teeth every single day, and it probably has been that way for 20 years. Isn't that crazy? When you take a shower, you probably wash yourself exactly the same way every single time. So you've got plenty of discipline. The hard part is getting discipline to do other stuff, right? To be more profitable. If it's really important to you, if you're wondering what the hell's wrong, why can't I grow my business? Look back at your time. What are you doing with your time and how can you fix it? What are the things you can delegate to somebody else? What are the things you can just flat stop doing? What are the things that you need to do more of? Prospecting is the key. Your pipeline is your lifeline. The more quality time you can spend on that, the pickier you can be about the clients that you take, the more money that you can charge, and the faster you'll go up the leaderboard, right? Time, you can't manage it. All you can do is try and manage yourself. Time block. Well, first of all, pay attention where your time's going now. Get rid of the shit you shouldn't be doing. Delegate the stuff that has to be done anyway. Double down on the time that you're spending on the stuff that makes you more money, that brings you new money. I'm Walker McKay with No BS Sales. If you need help, if you know somebody that's looking for a coach, that wonders what it's like to work with a sales coach, wonder if it'd make any difference at all, be happy to have a quick conversation. Give me a call, 803-917-2817, or send me an email, walker@walkermckay.com. I'd be happy to have a conversation with you. a no BS conversation, see if it makes sense for us to have some sort of coaching relationship. Not right for everybody. And I promise I'll feel no pressure to sell you anything. I'm just open for a conversation. Thanks a bunch. I love you, No BS sales team. Talk soon.